Hello, this is writer and assistant editor Alessio Summerfield from Geektime. Today we're going to take a look at 3 games that I've been recently playing. All 3 of these games have been independently developed by small teams. All 3 of them sort of feature this like meta, self-aware atmosphere, and all 3 of them feature retro 8-bit, 16-bit graphics. The first one that we're going to take a look at today is McPixel. A small game that sort of gained its popularity through Reddit and through the Pirate Bay. It was the first sort of endorsed Pirate Bay game, and it was one of the first. It was in the first batch of 10 greenlit games to be approved by Steam. And so coming in at $4.99 on the Steam store, for the PC and for the Mac. It's almost like 30-second hero, kind of. You've got 20 seconds to figure out how to quote-unquote save the day or disarm a bomb, and you can really only click maybe once or twice usually. The character McPixel, which in the game it sounds like they're calling him MaPixel, is a play off of MacGyver. I almost said MacGruber, excuse me. And so really you're just trying to save the day or disarm this bomb really, really quickly. And it's kind of addicting. The music kind of gets a little bit redundant. But for the most part, I mean, for a small purchase and the fact that it can pretty much run on any machine, and it's sort of crude humor, it's a fun little quick purchase. I don't know if I would pick it up at $4.99. I mean, I would to help the developer out and to sort of support independent games, but if you're sort of strapped for cash but you really want to try it out, I'd probably just wait for a sale or something. I mean, it'll probably be like $1 at some point. Moving along now, we're going to take a look at Retro City Rampage. The footage we're looking at here is I purchased it on the PlayStation Vita, and the reason for this on my behalf was because I own a Vita and a PS3. And if you buy it, you actually get the game on both systems, which I thought was nice. It's the same price as it is on PC, which is $14.99. And I don't know, it's a fun little game. It's a GTA-inspired NES sort of game. As opposed to having like a full-fledged story, though, it sort of just parodies gaming, and uses a lot of cameo appearances from like game characters that we all know. The entire Destructoid staff, and I think the PlayStation blog, have little cameo appearances. Particularly Jonathan Holmes and Mr. Destructoid, which I'm a big fan of. And you can also buy little portraits of like Jim Sterling and everybody. I'm sorry if I'm totally Conrad Zimmerman. Sorry if I'm totally like stomping on the cool factor of Destructoid being featured in the game, but I can't remember all of your names. But it's just sort of like a fun romp. The story is kind of crap, to be honest, but it's a lot of fun, and the missions are kind of decent excuses to sort of just have a blast. The music's pretty good. There's a bunch of radio stations and stuff like that in the game, and I want to say it features about 2 or 3 hours of music made specifically for the game. I can't recall who the artist was off the top of my head, but regardless, it's a pretty fun game, and yet again, kind of like McPixel, I don't know if $14.99 is kind of worth it. I mean, it's a great game, and if you get it on the PlayStation 3, you get it for both systems. But I kind of got tired of it after a few days, so I might wait if it came out on a sale, or if you're just really into this style of game. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. There's arcade challenges, and you can change sort of the design of the quote-unquote television set, I guess, that you're working with. And I don't know, there's a bunch of fun things. My favorite part, personally, was there's an arcade, and in the arcade you can play 8-bit, 16-bit versions of Super Meat Boy, which looks like it's running on a Virtual Boy, which I loved, and Bit Trip Runner, which I love the Bit Trip series no matter what, and oddly enough, there is an Epic Mealtime minigame, which I was not aware of prior to purchasing the game, and totally caught me off guard. You never really see YouTube sensations in video games. But anyway, moving on, my favorite of the 3 titles that we're going to talk about today, and honestly one of my favorite games ever, hands down, Hotline Miami. I can't stop praising this game. The soundtrack is amazing. The story and the way that it's sort of like given to you in bits and pieces and half-truths, and you're sort of uncovering but at the same time not really caring about parts of the story. I mean, as the character in the game, not as you. I mean, I was intrigued throughout the entire playthrough, but there's a lot of things that go on, and it's a bit of a head game, particularly the epilogue, which was one of my favorite parts. But I mean, the gameplay is super addicting, which is weird because it's a bit like, it's a bit like self-pleasure. I know that's a little weird sounding, but like, you're really, 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 really into it, and then as soon as the deed is done, the level is finished, the bodies are on the floor, you're forced to sort of walk through your handiwork, and you kind of feel disgusting. And yet at the same time, it's a feeling that I can't stop wanting more of. I don't know if that's just me personally being a bit of a weirdo or what, but just the combination of the visuals, the music, and the intensity, because I mean, if you get hit once, you're done, and you will die a lot. Mixed with when it all kind of comes together, you sort of have this adrenaline burst of, wow, I just wiped out a whole floor full of armed baddies and wasn't even seen, is really, really exhilarating. But like I said, the plot and the music and the gameplay combined really make me come back to this game over and over and over and over, no matter how many times I've beaten it. I will say, to those of you that are interested, most definitely pick it up. It is $8.99 on Steam. Right now it is PC only, but I've heard that they're looking at porting it to the Vita, and it might get Steam crossover sort of play with the Mac as well at some point. I'm a huge fan, cannot say enough about this game. And yeah, you should pick it up. That is honestly my recommendation, but out of the three, if you have to pick up one of them, let it be Hotline Miami. Honestly, if you have to pick up any game, like in only one game, I'm sorry, but Assassin's Creed 3, Resident Evil 6, Halo 4, all of that can sort of sit on a shelf because we've done it a million times. To me, Hotline Miami is probably one of the most original games I've played since I started playing video games. Like 20 years ago. So yeah, check it out, pick it up, gets my thumb of approval. And yeah, check back at Geektime, www.geekti.me for more information. And yeah, thanks guys.